Definitely check out Netflix Las Muertas or Dead Girls. It's a must see for any type of audience, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're not Hispanic or Hispanic. This is a must watch show. Some people will try to say, well, it's a dark comedy about a brothel in Mexico. No. They try to mix in some dark comedy, but this is not a dark comedy. This is a really honest and real look at a South American brothel. And it is scary, okay? And it makes you appreciate the United States and how the Western side of the world has really stood up for women and women's rights. Unlike uh, South America, right? Unlike some other countries that don't appreciate females and women rights, it's really scary what happens outside of the United States to women, right? It's scary what happens to women outside of the United States. And this is an honest look at a Mexican brothel and the dark stories of the characters that inhabit this brothel. Now, this brothel was unique and infamously known for the deaths of the girls who worked in the brothel. They started disappearing from 1950 to 1964. And like around 1960, people started questioning around the area, listen, why are all these girls disappearing? And they were working at this brothel. And the brothel was run by these two sisters who were like witches. And in the show, they tried to, I believe in real life it was four sisters, but in the show they make it two sisters. And in real life, all four sisters were hideous old witches. But in the show, they make one of the sisters like pretty. And it's sad because they basically took um, women who had educational, what is it when you're like half autistic or, you have mental issues. They basically took people who needed psychological help, little Indian girls who needed psychological help, and they put them in like a brothel. And when they were unwanted, right, when they didn't want to do the client services, and or when they got ugly, right, or sick, they were violently beaten and killed. And there is the way the show ends, right? Because the ending is going to be something people talk about. And I'm not sure if in the ending they're trying to leave it for a second season, because there is a death of one of the girls that goes unsolved. And one of the girls, the last scene ends, remember, with the young girl going to the old man and she goes, oh, get my name right. My name is Maria. It's easy to remember. And then you hear the guy beating her, and she's found with a knife to her chest. And the camera pans out of the bar looking at one of the sisters. And you have to ask yourself, was the lady also selling the girls to be killed, like in the movies Hostel, where those girls being also sold to be killed, and then what was it was just a haunting show. And they get into all the characters, not only the girls, but the people, because they put the girls in like these hideouts in farms in the middle of nowhere. And it you just so this was going on in Mexico. And it was a famous story because these girls almost were like serial killers. um and they were associated with people in the Mexican government, right? But what got them caught, I'll tell you this, what got them caught was that someone high up in the Mexican government ended up going to that brothel for a party, right? And this governor who was high up was a closet gay man. And he ended up hitting on a couple of men at the party who get away from me. And the governor was so embarrassed that he took he started prosecuting these brothel owners wherever they went they were prosecuted. And the only reason they were prosecuting them were because the everybody, like the higher ups in the Mexican government, were closet gays. And he just didn't like that. He was invited to one of their parties like in the past, and he was embarrassed that he had hit he started trying to hold hands, kiss and dance some of the men at the party, and was rejected and had to leave like the party because he was almost beat. And he was embarrassed because of that, and because of that is why they were prosecuting this brothel. So they had changed the names of all the characters in the show, but it's based on a real story and it's based on real characters. And in the credits they show the actual photo of all the girls who had died there. So this happened in 1960, right? Great show. There's a lot of things in this show that you'll never see in a Hollywood production. There's a lot of politically incorrect things in this show. I think the story people are really gonna remember is Blanca's story, right? The black one. And people are gonna be like, why was she disfigured like this? Because she ends up getting a couple of abortions. And in the last abortion, the doctor takes out a lot of blood from her. Too much. And like she hemorrhages, gets like a stroke, and is like permanently disfigured. And the sisters try to go at night when she's sleeping and she's helpless with a wrench. and they try to wrench out her gold teeth. And then they don't know anything about strokes, they don't know anything about medicine. So, you know what they try to do after she's permanently disfigured from the stroke? Is they get one of those things to iron your clothes, and they try to iron her like you iron clothes to straighten her out, and her skin falls off. I mean, these people were just horrific. These were two sisters in Mexico. They should have married one of the psychopaths here in the US, right? Because these women were like nuts. Holy cow. They were nuts. So this story is a must watch. You know, it's not something that's like gory or you're gonna see a lot of sick things. First, there's like a lot of sex, a lot of naked women. You know, there's like a whorehouse. But as time goes by, you see how the sacrifice these women have to make to keep up these parties. And it's not always lavish. You know, when they first open up the first whorehouse, a lot of money goes into it. It's really lavish, it's really nice. And then after that governor guy is embarrassed for his homosexuality, and they have to start going on the run from city to city in Mexico because they open up a brothel, then they get taken to court and prosecuted. So then they get over that prosecution in court. They open up another brothel and they're prosecuted again. And that's what the series is about. And this is one of those shows that is just going to make you think. That just makes you think, and you can just go on. Every episode is. There's only 6 episodes, right? And you can watch this in a day